Sci-Fi.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willie. I'm Wade.
I'm Willie.
This is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. Join us on patreon.com/reallifesci-fi for access to 2 bonus episodes a week, video feed, and more. Also visit RealLifeSciFi.show for other stuff. Become a friend of Charles Kwan. Get your name read here. We've got no friends of Charles Kwan, so there's no names being read here. That's a patreon.com thing. Let's welcome aboard the SSRLSF. Writer, actor, filmmaker, and balloon enthusiast, Curt Neill.
Hey, what's up, guys? I definitely like balloons. Oh, fuck.
They're behind you.
Oh, fucking hell. I love balloons.
Yeah, man. They got it nailed down. They know where you're at. They can
The only
put
thing I
them
hate
behind
is
you.
fireworks. So nobody light fireworks around me, okay? That's the last thing I want to see. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ.
Curt, how are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad. How you guys doing?
This isn't about us. This is your time to shine.
Oh, okay. I'm doing really well. Nothing's ever been better. I'm very happy and satisfied with my life.
You've been on the show a few times. I don't know how many times. How into this world are you?
I bet this is at least number 4.
Are you crazy into conspiracy stuff or
I find them all very interesting, but I probably believe very few of them. But they're fun to chat, and you guys are 2 of my best friends, so I have a really nice time every time I come on.
Thanks.
I was doing an eyebrow thing, but I don't know if it was.
No one wants to like reciprocate or anything.
No, man.
Just a
What do you
thing.
mean
man.
reciprocate?
It's all-
Well, you don't have a show that we have been on, so I don't know what you.
The part about being
talking
my best friend.
Anyway, let's move on here.
I don't have any friends.
Let's just do the WoW scale because I don't think you're very into this stuff. I think you're just gonna be a me.
Yeah, no, I lean Wade.
WoW scale. The WoW scale stands for Wade or Willie. It's a 5-question quiz. At the end of the quiz, I'll give you a score between 0 and 5. If you're more of a 0, you're more of a Wade. If you're more of a 5, you're more of a Willie. You ready to be Wade on the WoW scale?
I can't wait.
First question, 3-parter. Do you believe in aliens? If so, have they visited Earth? If so, have they visited Earth in the last 300 years?
Yeah, this one always tricks me up because like it seems inevitable, but I don't feel like I've ever seen real evidence of it. So
Not even with what's going on today with like so many, like what are these drones and what are these UAPs? Like,
yeah, those are certainly interesting. I mean, I basically believe in them because I figure there's got to be something else out there. So I'd say yeah, somewhere.
You think they're here now, though?
I don't think they're here now. I bet they haven't visited either. No. I bet they're out there. I bet they haven't engaged with us. That's what I think.
All right, what about ghosts?
Ghosts? No, I don't believe ghosts.
All right. Well, I want to say Portland, but you're from Oregon somewhere.
Correct. Oregon, Eugene area. Portland is almost like its own world. So I kind of don't count Portland as Oregon.
Because it's like an island. It's like an island of liberalism and otherwise
it's a
sort of more
metropolitan
conservative.
Yeah, it's a metropolitan island.
It's like an Austin.
Yeah, it's surrounded by straight up rural.
How close is Eugene to that mess?
About 2 hours south on the 5.
Okay. It's funny because it's the same freeways, the 5 and the 101, right?
5 goes straight up, man. I drive back and forth all the time.
Straight up now, tell me, are you gonna drive the 5?
With me, baby. Oh yeah.
Bigfoot.
No.
All right, Illuminati.
Sure, probably. That makes sense.
What's your version of it? Are they telling Jay-Z what to do in his videos, or are they controlling conglomerates?
Yeah, I think of the Illuminati as like what other people think of as the deep state. It's like the rich and powerful kind of pulling the strings.
Multiverse.
No.
You believe in no.
Nah. Sounds like gibberish to me.
Gibberish.
Yeah.
Who was telling you about it? Fucking Daffy Duck?
It was this guy was talking to me in Pig Latin. I could barely understand him.
It gave behind me.
Multiverse May. What? I don't fucking
What about
understand.
Porky Pig Latin? Has anyone ever made that joke? Where
Porky
it's like
Pig, I believe That's
It
lay a Oxfay.
Wait, no, Willie, you gotta do the whole thing, Pig Latin, Willie. Go ahead.
That's they.
You're just
Oh,
doing.
they. Damn
You're
it.
just doing connections getting lost.
I can't do Pig Latin. Have you ever seen those twins that like this is every twin? They have their own language. They just like speak in their own language. Have you ever seen that?
I've got a twin nephews, and they speak. I understand what they say.
They don't have their own language, their own personal language.
Not yet, but I've some people say it's also telepathic.
Okay, sure, but not every twin does it. But every person that I've seen do it has a twin, and it's like a secret language that they've developed throughout their lives.
Me and a couple friends, when we were in like fourth grade, we made up our own language so we could talk to each other across the class. But it was just
What
like
was that? Do you remember it?
it was like code words. We would use like phrases like "Where's the beef?" or something, but that meant like something else. So we could like we had little phrases that meant other phrases, so we could like communicate.
For cheating on tests or what?
I think it was just funny to us that we could like say something we maybe weren't supposed to, like a curse word maybe. Like if I said "Where's the beef?" it meant like "Isn't she fucking stupid?" or something like that.
That's really funny.
Something
Because
specific to the teacher.
You're eliminating the curse word part of it.
We were technically geniuses, is kind of how I describe it.
Oh, I guess that's one way to describe it.
You were leaning there also, so.
Oh yeah, I was. So yes, no, yes, no. You're like a one.
Is Dead Zero a Wade?
Yeah, I don't really believe in the Illuminati. Like,
yeah,
you're
I mean,
you're probably a zero. Like,
my answer was kind of vague. I'm like, yeah, sure, powers that be, yeah, probably.
I mean but that just seems like everyone believes that, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody doesn't believe that there's someone beyond the government controlling things, right?
Yeah, it's honestly probably more likely I don't understand what the Illuminati is.
So
Beyonce,
with that being
in this
said,
music video, you're gonna have to put this symbol up 3 times.
you have to die in one music video and then come back as a different person in the next music video.
But what does that mean?
That means Satan.
Oh, sick. No, I'm seeing now. Satan, I believe in. He's cool. I'm on board. I can't wait to meet him.
I like him in principle, but only in my idealized version of him. I'm like a Christian, only for Satan.
I like him when he's played by Al Pacino in Devil's Advocate.
Huh?
Now, who's the advocate? Is it Keanu?
It's a really interesting question. Dang, I'm not sure. Maybe they just enjoyed the pun.
Because I don't think it's Keanu,
Right.
because they're like butting heads the entire
Well, the
movie,
advocate just it relates to the fact that they're lawyers. Isn't that kind of what that is? Isn't that the as far as that goes?
I've never seen it. I didn't know they were lawyers.
It's pretty good.
I fucking love it. It's very underrated.
Is it?
People don't talk about it.
I'll watch it.
It's a fun
tonight.
90s.
It actually is fun.
It's my
and
favorite
the fact
genre.
that the devil's in it and there's demons, like it's pretty good.
But it's also like a kind of a fun 90s thriller.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, because
Are they taking on a corporation?
No, so Keanu
basically a Christian case. That's what we'll say, right?
Keanu Reeves is a hotshot lawyer in the South or something. Al Pacino is the big dog lawyer in New York and recruits Keanu to come join his law firm in New York. So Keanu brings his wife, Charlize Theron,
So it's
Charlize
the firm.
Theron.
So right now it's the firm. Okay,
So
continue.
they bring the two of them out to New York, and then slowly but surely, Al Pacino, who's secretly the devil. I mean, a big chunk of the movie is he drives Charlize Theron insane. Like he like fucking shows her stuff and like makes her go crazy. But the goal is to incorporate Keanu into his devil plans.
But Keanu's like, I'm from the Bible Belt, dude. I'm a Baptist.
I've already given away too much. You need to watch it.
All right, I'll watch it tonight.
Good.
Can you come back next week and we'll discuss it?
I'll come over and watch it with you.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I just vacuumed, so.
Okay, great. Good. I was going to ask you to anyways.
Let's Willie, hit us with the topic.
Tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi, giant new structures under the pyramid of Khafre. We will be discussing the revolutionary new SAR scan that has revealed never before seen chambers underneath the ancient pyramid. Join us as we explore the secrets hidden beneath the surface and unlock the mysteries of the past. Maybe tonight's episode will leave you questioning everything you thought or knew about the pyramids. Find out tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi.
Now, my biggest sort of like immediate bump with this is not new stuff, right? Didn't it just get like reported again? I swear I've heard of this shit before. Am I wrong?
Well,
I've never heard it.
They have scanned underneath the Sphinx before and found chambers under there.
Wait, and these scans are the way that you would deep sea fish or something, or how they map the ocean or whatever. It's like a sonar kind of thing that goes down, and
they're doing it from satellites in space, and they're, what are they called? SAR.
You'd think you'd want to get closer.
the synthetic
it seems
aperture
like that's
radar.
very far away.
Well, it still works the same way because it's just the waves bouncing back. I agree. But here's the deal. So in the realm of Egypt, if you're going to do any of this stuff, it's got to be approved by Egypt. And Egypt they're very gatekeepers about anything Egypt.
Yeah.
I think that they actually did this in 2022, but the scans.
Well, it's because it's
So
up in the
hold
satellite. It takes light years to travel back and forth.
They're waiting for the papers to drop. So this is not in a peer-reviewed.
The satellite has a dot matrix printer. It prints it out, and then it cuts it off, and then it just flies down.
Takes about fucking 50 years.
So it's funny because right now
Special paper that has to survive the burn through thing. You know, when
The burn through thing.
when you come
Yeah,
back
when the thing burns. Yeah, when you
is
get
it
into
just
the
because you're
the
going
burn through
fast?
That's the ozone layer.
Is it because you're
It's
going
'cause the ozone
fast
layer.
through the atmosphere? Okay.
The ozone layer is made of fire, so you got to bust through that first.
Because I'm always
You gotta
like,
bust
can
through
you
it.
go slow through the atmosphere and not burn?
Yeah, what if
I
you,
think if you're a piece of paper.
yeah. So this gets you through.
Yeah.
So I keep trying to tell NASA that's how you got to land those guys so they're not on fire. Bring the astronauts back like that. Just let them kind of ride one of those pieces of paper.
Stiff as a board, light as a feather. Stiff as a board, light as a feather.
Yeah.
So what is these scans? So they did it. I swear this is like old information that like Joe Rogan got a hold of. I actually think that's the case. I was using him as a placeholder, but I'm pretty sure he did a story on it, and now everyone's like, "Oh,
no. I mean, they have done scans underneath the pyramids and the Sphinx before, but not this pyramid. This is the Khafre pyramid. They did them under the Khufu pyramid, and they found chambers underneath. This is a news story because just March of this year, they had a press conference. And so I just want to say this. A lot of people are just right straight out front debunking it by saying like, nah, it's not in a peer-reviewed journal. We haven't looked at this stuff. This is just a press release. People are just, they did some scans, these two universities, and they're just releasing their information. It doesn't count yet.
That's I did notice very few, if any, reputable news sources had reported on it. It was like when I Googled it, it was like websites I'd never heard of were posting about it.
Yeah.
Also, as far as I know, like none of my friends have weighed
Daily Mail.
And isn't that what a peer review is? The
scans that they have. So let me explain real quick what they figured out underneath.
What their friends had to say.
This pyramid. So you know in the Great Pyramid, do you know how the King's Chamber works?
Yeah, that's where they used to go to sleep. And
this company showed the scans of stuff that we do know about in the Great Pyramid, the King's Chamber, where there are layers of big giant granite pieces with a little triangle over top of the stacks, right? That's in the Khufu pyramid. In the Khafre pyramid, there were 5 of those structures within the pyramid. And so those are new because they hadn't scanned this pyramid before.
What are these stacks you're talking about?
They are big giant pieces of granite above the King's Chamber. So they're like huge blocks. I don't know how big they are, but they're bigger than any block you see on the outside of the pyramid. They're huge.
That's because in ancient Egypt, Superman couldn't see through granite.
Smart. So it's about protecting the king, the pharaoh, the king.
Yeah, he evolved and now he just can't see through lead, but it used to be granite.
And these pyramids, what? They're like 20 by 20, 30 by 30?
What? If I think
they're way bigger than that.
Yeah,
they're like millions.
400, 300 feet.
They're like you can see them from space, can't you?
I think so.
No, but let me think.
No, you can't.
That's how you could print the pictures of them from those satellites and they send them down.
750 feet each side of the Great Pyramid.
750 by 750.
Does that help you? Does that help you, Kurt?
It does. It helps me.
Was it important?
Was it important? Technically, because now I can visualize how big these other things we're talking about.
So what, 2 football fields is the length of one side of the Great Pyramid.
Impressive.
So also the scans underneath the pyramid, they found these 8 giant columns that go like 600 kilometers deep. And each giant column is surrounded by what looks like a staircase surrounding each one.
Have you seen pictures?
I missed how deep they are. What did you say?
About 1.5 miles deep. So there's giant columns that are huge with what looks like staircases around them. And then at the very base of all that, there's these 2 giant cubes that those are resting on, or not resting on, or connected to in some way. And so this goes about 1.5 miles deep under the ground.
Can they make out any degree of hollowness? Or are they just surrounded by sand and dirt?
I know that the columns are hollow.
And are
So
these
I'm going to
apparent? Do they think
share.
these apparent? Can they tell these apparent steps are inside?
I don't know if you can really tell that there's steps, right? So this is the Khafre pyramid. These are those 5, what looks like the king chambers things that they found inside the pyramid.
Yeah.
Now they've got these hollow columns right here, 8 of them underneath. And then there's these giant squares way underneath. This is like 10 times deeper than the height of the pyramid. This isn't a great representation, but because the depths are a little off. These columns are longer than this. Let me see if I can.
We get it. It's a mile and a half.
Yeah, dude, fucking crazy. So also with these 8 tubes, there's these other 2 things right here that are pretty big, right? That look like tuning forks aiming straight into the ground.
Now, Willie, were any of these images you're showing us provided by the people claiming this discovery? See, this is more convincing. What we're looking at here. This is like a proper report.
So these are
I
some of the
understand.
scans. I know. I want to, and there's some math in here.
The math is easy. We all know the math, obviously.
Yeah, skip all that. I knew all the answers.
Obviously, it's B squared.
Obviously.
So this is your color gradient. This is when you're in Premiere and you pull up the wheels.
Well, yes.
But and what else?
And it's also, if you need the gradient tool to show, like, you can use the gradient tool to
Now, Willie, do these already have a LUT on them, or is that something we can add later?
This looks a lot like they're just doing alpha channel, kind of like
So this right here is a scan of above the king's chamber in the Great Pyramid, so that you can see what this scan looks like. So this is the known structure.
And for the listeners,
over
this is not any clearer by seeing it. It's just a heat map of some sort.
For the listeners, we understand it as little as you do.
Right. Don't feel lost. It's like a heat map thing, and then a black and white thing.
And they certainly aren't in the shape of a pyramid. You said
if you want to see
the pyramid?
This is the same SAR scan of the King's Chamber. We know these blocks. We know how this works. And the only reason why they showed this scan is so that when you look at the ones in the Khafre pyramid, to be like, these are exactly the same. There's 5 of these things within this pyramid. So even though this is the smaller, later pyramid, it has 5 king's chambers in them. So the only reason why I bring this up, this whole chamber thing, is because right now the accepted history of the pyramids are they're all tombs, and the king's chamber is where the king was buried.
Mm-hmm.
So now this other pyramid's got 5 king chambers in it. There was never a body in the king's chamber. All these main pyramids didn't have so that scan that I was talking about is not in this thing, but
maybe that king was polyamorous and he had like 4 ladies with him or something.
Did you ever think of that, Willie? I think it's a valid point that needs addressing.
And maybe all the tubes go under is where he hides his even other ladies. You know what I mean? Like he keeps them down there, and that's like for him.
Do you guys know who Zawi Hawes is? I'm always going to trash him every time I talk about him.
Yeah, we went to high school together.
He was in charge of Egypt antiquities for a long time. He's the guy you see on every TV show. He gives tours. He got in trouble for was in charge.
I've never seen any of his TV shows. I don't watch this garbage.
I second that, Wade. Shit. Where do those balloons come from? This is gonna be great for the podcast.
In case you don't see what's going on, balloons are
Please explain.
Balloons come out anytime Curt does a peace sign, and so I'm just so I'm sorry, Willie.
Stop tricking me. You know I'm afraid of balloons. Stop tricking me.
This guy he's an archaeologist. He's a former minister of tourism and antiquities of Egypt. He got fired because he got accused of selling all these antiquities on the black market.
Yeah. So would I. Nice. So would I.
I would do that.
Right?
Let's write this movie. Let's get Rez Ahmed.
So he's the face of Egypt and everything Egypt. He gets fired for being corrupt, and then I
guess America could take a lesson from Egypt.
Well, I mean, here's the funny
people
part.
For being corrupt.
Right. Well,
thank you.
But this
You're welcome.
Makes it look more like America afterwards, because he got hired back and got cleared of everything.
Oh no, okay, they got it.
As soon as he got hired back, he retired. Like after 6 days. So like clearly he paid off somebody.
Pension or
definitely like corrupt. So he came out and said, none of this is real. They don't know anything about Egypt. That's what he said. These are just
None of the
scans.
known, the norm, like the accepted stuff is real, is what he's saying.
He's saying about these scans. He's like, you
Oh,
can't just say anything about the pyramids without knowing the history of Egypt. And he's basically trying to be the
sure you
expert
can.
who is like, yeah, I know exactly. Who's like,
If you
there
find
is
something
footage.
new,
There's footage of him saying that there are no tunnels or chambers underneath the Sphinx. And years earlier, there's videos of him going down under, going like, let's see what's down here. So, I mean, like he is clearly,
bought and paid for.
yeah, for sure. And also in the realm of Egypt, I mean, this is what happened to Egypt. Everybody came to Egypt and took everything.
Hmm.
All these archaeologists originally were not from
Well, and
Egypt.
that's why they're so uptight about it, right? Because like I don't know much about Egypt, but I think their number one industry is tourism, and then number two is blankets.
All the biggest artifacts from Egypt are in the British Museum or in the Smithsonian. They're all in everybody
Well,
else's
the British. I mean, they've got everybody's shit, and they won't give it back.
They had
Bastards.
I think they still have the Rosetta Stone, which is I think that's funny.
You brought this guy up to hit piece him, so he has no credibility as far as we know. Why'd you bring him up? Just because he doesn't believe in this?
because he's saying that there's no credibility to this. It's just funny because I'm like, you fell out of the limelight, and he's just putting himself back in.
Well, let's talk.
Like,
let's talk about the people who do believe in it. Like, what could this be? What are the theories on these things? Because listen, I want it to be real.
Mhm.
I think it's very fun to just go down into a secret bunker. Like, I wish there was more secret bunkers everywhere that I could go into.
Seconded. Damn it.
Damn it!
My relationship, my history of pyramids, Egypt is constantly evolving. I'm learning more. I'm wrong about stuff in the past. I thought that the Nile was next to the pyramids thousands of years before the pyramids were constructed. Actually, they dammed off one of the channels or whatever you call it of the river a long time ago. And I will say, we know that Cleopatra is closer to us in history than the construction of the accepted construction of the pyramids.
Holy cow. I didn't know that.
She was from 30 BC or something like that. Pyramids were 3,000 BC.
Too much history, man. History, people have been around for too long.
Well, I just fell asleep. What? What are you guys talking about? I just heard history.
Right? I'm just pointing out that Cleopatra was closer to us than the construction of the pyramids.
No, sure.
Out of all the images that you've seen, all the hieroglyphs you see all these pictures and hieroglyphs of them building things. You never see them building the pyramid. So that's funny. So it's just a funny thing. There is not one in Egypt.
Interesting.
And then when Cleopatra was in Egypt, there was a tributary of the Nile running next to the pyramids, all the pyramids. And then they dammed that up. So I'm just saying the Nile was next to all of the 22 pyramids over in the
you're saying all this because you think it has something to do with magnetic fields, and you think that the staircases are wire
conductors.
And
I don't know if they need
conductors.
to be staircases. That's just what somebody proposed, but I don't think that they've seen stairs in them. They just are spiraling.
Well, no, but that's what I was saying. That it's not a staircase. What we're calling a staircase is just a conductor. It's a wire conductor.
Yeah. Maybe it's filled with mercury. I don't know, but the big giant cylinders were probably filled in with water.
This is what you believe.
Yeah. Because the Nile was right next to all these pyramids at this time when it was built, but also when Cleopatra was there, that part of Egypt was lush and green, and the Nile was running next to the pyramids. Right, a lot of these sacred sites around the world were built on aquifers. Even Stonehenge, all the pyramids in Mexico.
What's an aquifer?
Just an underwater river.
Huh.
Okay.
And if you have a big river, there's usually underground rivers associated with that, just because of everybody's acting like this is some new thing where it's like, how the fuck could they build these giant tunnels that go underground into the bedrock? This isn't like they dug into the sand. This is bedrock. And so I only bring that up because if you look around Egypt now, they do have giant shafts, huge bedrock shafts all around the pyramid and the pyramid structures.
No, this I like.
Are these gigantic holes. These ones are square. These aren't underneath the pyramid. We don't know what these giant shafts are either.
That's a swimming pool, man.
Well, I don't understand.
Really
like, so that, but you're just showing me a big square shaft. Is this?
He's showing it as evidence that they did some deep ground tunneling.
But these are all over the place. But nobody ever talks about these or has any idea what these are either. Whatever the pyramids are, I lean towards that these are some kind of free energy machines or something.
But that's what you've always thought. So you're just using new stuff to reaffirm what you've always thought.
But this is why I think some of these things is because I've watched.
He's saying the new stuff confirms what he already thought.
I know, but does it? I don't think it does. I think you're looking at it and going like, oh yeah, well those must be filled with water and it's all free energy.
I don't want to. I'm not trying to say that this confirms anything. I'm just showing you that so this is filled in with sand. This goes real deep also into the bedrock. This was carved out. We don't know anything about the pyramids is why I'm bringing this up. I'm not saying I do either, but and I'm not trying to say that.
But who cares if we know anything? There's nothing to talk about if nobody knows anything about the pyramids, right? I mean, cool, but I'm
saying this for Curt's sake. I'm saying that I don't want to just jump into.
Okay, we'll jump into it because we're at 750 right now.
Curt.
Yeah.
All around these pyramids, there's these huge tunnel shafts, and they don't know what these are. And when the pyramids were built, there was water everywhere, all over the pyramid complex. And so when you have aquifers and rivers all around here, these may have been filled with water.
It's the same as all of it for me. It's like it's I don't fucking know. It's fascinating because it's like, how the hell did they do that? I know what I've never been especially convinced of one theory or the other about how they built those or why and this. And I think
outside of your theory that the tubes were to jettison his multiple wives down into the, concubine
sex caverns.
Yeah, whatever. What's a different idea? What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's interesting and exciting to me because it's like the fact that it's so deep in the ground and it seems so specific and particular and the shapes of the tubes and the things wrapping around, it's almost more impressive than the pyramids. And then even looking at the thing Willie just showed us with these big kind of square deep holes that they made that no one knows what they're for, but just looking at the images you can see how precise the sides are, like how precisely they cut in. It kind of just makes it more believable. Not that I'm saying I believe it, but it does make it more believable that there was some fucking other higher being involved, another intelligent, an alien, for example.
See, this is where you make me mad.
Well, I'm just saying, it's more believable once I see all these extra bits. I'm not saying I believe it, but how the fuck else did they do that stuff?
Dig
and just how are they making all these big long tubes and
how is it so
specific and accurate?
I think they had tools. They weren't morons. Doesn't have to be fucking aliens.
But accurate tools to be that accurate with it all is
right.
Well, what do you mean by accurate? Because we just saw a square hole, and it was not at all like
the sides. It seemed pretty. It seemed like a real clean cut all the way down to me.
Did it? I don't know. It didn't seem like
it was a clean cut, but then it was also weathered. And so my thing is, the only reason why I bring up some of this stuff is just that I don't think it was aliens, but it's like proof of lost technology. And I only say that because with the tools that they have, they couldn't have done most of the stuff.
Here's a question that I have. These scans that they have and all the images that the fans or whatever have made are circular. And I've never seen anything circular in Egypt. So is that just a bad? Don't you think that those shafts are probably square?
No. I'll pull up a circular shaft scan for you. People are throwing out ideas on both sides and well, maybe there's just compacted ground underneath them because the pyramids have sitting there for so long. But I'm like, no, these are 8 cylindrical shafts.
I'm raising a good point, right? When have we ever seen them do anything circular?
There definitely are some circular.
If you're cutting into the ground, circle's not the way to go. If we're talking about ancient tools and stuff like that, or whatever ancient technologies that they have, right? This is a completely different thing than the rest of their. We don't know how they built the pyramids. Fine, okay. We also don't know how you could make like a circle cutting into the ground. If you're cutting into the ground, you would not do a circle. You just wouldn't. Why would you?
Well, yeah, but it depends. To your point, it depends on what you're cutting with.
Exactly. So I want to see these scans of the circle,
right?
The circle scans.
So because of my lame search or whatever, I'm just pulling up the first thing that comes up. I'm only pointing this out because it is the New York Post, but it is the image of the scan.
Oh, that's my number one New York newspaper.
I know, the New York Post.
Like, of your New York.
And so like
I read them all. I read the Times.
Can you guys see this?
Sure.
So there's a
I
more
read the Wall
detailed,
Street Journal.
bigger of this, but like and this representation.
But do you really think that's a circle? Because like we're looking at it from the side view, that could easily be a square. I don't know what my point is. I just think it's interesting that people think these are circles.
Here's what
I'm trying to find a good scan, because the good scan's pretty. Go on.
Well, Willie talking about how there's no hieroglyphs, so essentially no recorded from the era, no recorded documentation of building these things, just the pyramids alone. It has me thinking about what I think a lot about with like religion and stuff, and how people like squash uprisings, fucking killing Jesus and the witch trials and stuff, and rewriting stuff. So like we don't want people to know about this thing of this group when they got going, so erase that from history. So who knows? There could have been some real crazy specific witchcraft to some of this, the way they built this shit, and then some leader came in and it was just like, I don't like this shit, delete it, like get rid of the records, I don't want anybody doing it like this ever again. So maybe there was something going on at the time that at some point some leader down the road was like, fucking get rid of all the evidence of that shit.
I'm so with that.
So, but that could be just specific to the tools they used or something. But
it's like how Donald Trump has like done executive orders just to like erase everything that Biden did, right?
Right. Yeah, it's just nope. I don't want that anymore.
Because of hubris and ego.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So here's some of these cylinder shafts.
So imagine you're a king of Egypt, like a couple hundred years after the pyramids, and everybody's still talking about the goddamn pyramids, and you're like,
fucking shut up about the pyramids.
It's me. Shut up.
I'm the guy. Let's build any more thing for me.
But break up all the tools they use, like to fucking burn them. We're not doing that shit anymore. I'm in charge.
Yeah, they had some kind of Trump guy. But wait, Willie, with that scan that you had, how is that cylindrical? Like, how am I supposed to know it's cylindrical based on the scans? Because it could still just be a square, couldn't it?
Because they have 3D scans, so that's just one side of it. But it's just like,
okay, so they know it's cylindrical.
Yeah.
And this is problematic for me.
I think that we should get all the religions of the world except Christianity together to go storm the Vatican, because they have miles and miles of books of information that they're withholding from us. Doesn't humanity have the right to look at what you're hiding from us? Because how much of that shit would change? I would believe that if there was an image of them building the pyramid, they would take that shit. I'd have no problem believing that.
Well, maybe we get some of the Proud Boys or some other organizations to help us storm the spot.
Yeah.
We could get
There's got to be some Italian Proud Boys. We can round them up and say, let's get in there, man. Let's see what they got. I bet the Vatican police are fucking maniacs.
Right. I picture because Da Vinci also did a drawing of the pyramid, and he, in his drawing, and I don't know if the chambers were revealed when he did the drawings of the pyramids, but he's got the chambers in them, and it looks like he has some tubes underneath them also. And I just picture him having an Italian accent going like, I forgot these fucking check out these fucking pyramids. I gotta go check out this fucking pyramid.
Now that's you doing Da Vinci?
That's just Da Vinci. So his Italian is saying fucking a lot.
His
and I mean, I'll go draw this fucking pyramid.
You're just doing a New York Italian.
It's a me, Da Vinci.
So Willie, your basic premise is like this reaffirms that they had free energy and these things are filled with water. What is everyone else saying about these things? Are there any predominant theories about these
no.
fucking things?
There's not. It's so new that there's not. I like the idea more of like, here's something else that nobody fucking knows. And so,
but there's no evidence.
The only people not saying they're just debunking it. Oh, it can't be. like they're just saying this isn't real. You can't. We got to have this peer reviewed.
I know,
like,
but I'm not really interested in like what the negative people are saying. I'm interested in like the fun theories on what it could be.
Well, because like if it was an energy thing, where was it going? It's like because there's nothing
well,
left that
okay,
looks like it could retain or use energy, right?
So one
Above
idea
or next to
is
The
that stuff.
sound. Don't forget the sound forks.
Did they
It
have
could
like a
have. It could
vein?
have. It could have like sent them to the sound forks, and then the sound forks they plug wires into or whatever.
Yeah,
I've got
they got speakers
two
that went
great
Bluetooth.
fringe theory ideas. One of them is that all of these ancient sites are built with water underneath them because picture how we send information.
Email.
The fastest way that we send information
Text.
is we use fiber optics. We're sending yes and no's through light, using light as the medium. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And the other side picks it up and
Like recreate that, you dickheads, in 2,000 years.
right. So
Lucky
if
fuckers.
you have water, they're saying that like sound travels faster through water than through air. So there's one idea that maybe with those tuning forks or whatever, that somehow the water's harnessing the energy, and I don't know what it's doing.
But that's the same French theory that you.
What's
What's a
here's
different
the other one. The other one is this person that was talking to an Andromedan alien said that the pyramids were like, so if you're a species and you're going from planet to planet, and the devices that you have to travel from planet to planet, most of the time they're driving, they don't deal with the gravity or the electromagnetic field of a planet. And so if you look into electromagnetic fields, they are not stable at all. They're fluctuating. You get some sunspots and they're fucking moving around, and they have natural weird distortions in areas. This Andromedan was saying the pyramids harness the energy of the electromagnetic field and stabilize the field a little better. So they were saying that there's pyramids on every planet that they go to, so that when they get there, kind of like settles down how they drive around the planet.
Oh, so in that theory, that group of beings put them here so they could travel more easily.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is their
And
ship kind of runs on magnetic fields, and to get like a safe landing zone for their ship, they need to construct a kind of landing platform, and that's the pyramids because it regulates the magnetic fields and allows them to come down smoothly.
yes. And a channeler was saying that she wasn't a channeler. She could go back in time and see things, and she saw alien crafts floating above pyramids and recharge, like gassing up, basically.
We're talking about the three main Giza pyramids, right? There's just three of them.
Picture them all as just different filling stations, but they're all meant to stabilize the magnetic.
Wait, but
field.
what's the point of your question, Kurt? Why
Are those three pyramids, the three main big ones that we see in the pictures, are they in like a triangular position? Because that kind of isn't that what you do with stuff? You triangulate, and doesn't that also support that theory that they were in a nice little configuration to kind of land right in between, and
these ones reflect the Orion constellation.
Oh.
If you put the Nile River back into the map on the Earth, it's the constellation of Orion, and the Milky Way is the Nile River. So it's kind of mirroring the sky.
So that one says aliens, that theory.
So people use that as
that doesn't say alien. No, it doesn't say. It says they're looking at the sky
space,
and they're like, let's fucking
make
it look like that.
The space travel you're talking
Well,
about.
I don't know, because it felt like you were saying that, like, oh, they're creating a safe landing pad by using three different triangles, but I don't think that's what Willy's saying. He's saying that every pyramid is like a safe.
Yeah, every pyramid.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up. If they were in a triangular position, what are the others like? Like if they were all in the same kind of layout.
Like what are the ones in South America? Are they does South America replicate the Orion Belt configuration or not?
They not necessarily Orion, but like the idea is that they all copy some other. God damn it, this fucking thing.
Constellation.
Other constellations, yeah, and then also in the same vein,
mapping.
There are pyramid complexes around the Earth that also make up that line up with the Orion's belt. So it's kind of like
so the aliens are
proving that all the complexes are connected.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Orion's belt is the brightest thing in the sky, and multiple people throughout the world, multiple societies throughout the world saw it and used it as a basis.
Yeah, but also with that constellation, for it to line up with the pyramid, that's how they use it as a dating device, where it's like it lined up 15,000 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's like it's
Are the Giza pyramids significantly bigger than other pyramid structures in the world?
no, there's a few bigger ones.
Yeah, so if there's a handful of collections of them and they're all kind of basically viewable from space, that's kind of a fun theory.
They're not.
They're
You're
not.
not listening. They're not viewable from
I thought
Here
that-
is
I thought the Giza ones were.
no, they're not.
I said that, and then Willie said no.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Here-
And
here's
then
Da
you made a
Vinci's
joke
drawing.
about printing out the thing.
Right.
So what are you showing us here? Now we've got an Instagram, and it's a Leonardo.
Is this Da Vinci's
what's his
drawing?
name? Da Vinci.
This is Leonardo da Vinci's drawing of the pyramid, and his drawing also had the correct ratio of the size of the pyramid, because this ratio incorporates pi
Scale, right?
Well,
Scale,
the ratio from the base to the height.
scale, ratios.
But the chambers inside the pyramid have the same angles. So I think that he drew this before they were exploring inside the pyramids. And so somehow his drawings matched the chambers of the pyramid, and his drawings continue underneath.
Well,
the
how do you
pyramid
explain
also.
that? Math?
Yeah, why did he know? If he got it right, how did he know?
A lot of ancient Egyptian structures built within them is everything that they knew. So it's like there are complexes that like mimic the way a body is built, where it's like, okay, this room represents the heart, this room represents the brain. So like,
well, but how did Leonardo glean that?
It's like he either knew how it worked, or he just knew the same math that isn't apparent to regular fucking people that.
Well, it's all triangles. I mean, I'm looking at it. It's triangle. It's just triangles. He just like
Yeah,
mathed out a bunch of triangles.
A specific golden triangle. This one has a square, circle, and triangle built into it. So it's like if you change this a little bit, all of a sudden it's not the golden ratio triangle.
What's the gold? What do you mean? What's that?
If you were to continue this drawing, the ratio of this triangle to a square to a circle are all equal. So this has this specific triangle has pi built into it. The ratio of 1/2 base over height.
So math. So he used math.
Big math guy.
But it's so specific that it has to be. It's kind of like if you just drew a triangle. If you drew a million triangles, how many of them would be precisely the pi triangle?
Hold on, let me find out.
Not that many.
But I don't understand, because we know that he was a math guy. He did the guy with all the arms and shit. So like what
That the Vitruvian Man
that?
has the same triangle ratio in it. It's the same.
Right. So it's math.
Yeah.
It's not magic.
It's specific math. Yeah.
But like I just don't understand where that gets us, I guess. Because yeah, he predicted it, but he predicted it because he used the scientific method, and he said like, well, if I was going to build a pyramid, I would do it like this because I'm a huge math fucking autistic nerd.
Yeah.
So he draws it out, and then later they're like, oh yeah, that is the way that it is. But like, I don't understand how that goes on to like what we're talking about, which is
it just
the underground chambers?
Is it just because that makes it that much more impressive? This supposedly more primitive civilization pulled this off.
Oh, like math on a large scale too.
Like how did they fucking know?
Like I can draw a little stick guy on my notepad, but like I couldn't draw like a stick guy on like a huge building.
Yeah,
that and
it's harder when it's bigger.
Hieroglyphs that represent the planets, you know.
Second that. Oh, no, not the balloons again.
Oh shit. Oh,
Jesus Christ, that blue one got really close.
So
worthwhile bit.
Us to 2,000 years ago, this thing was built 4,500 years ago on record. That's the official. There's just so much lost information, and we assume that they're primitive, and that's the whole thing, is that like not only do we not know what they're doing, we also don't know. We didn't assume they knew anything. So like we didn't assume that they knew planets and
let's say that you're right about all this. They were geniuses and stuff. And I'm not saying they're not. I totally believe in humanity, you guys. I've always said that.
Yeah, you're a big human guy.
Hate the people, love the product.
The gene.
Let's say that I die and I wake up in 2000 years and it's a completely different society. And I'm like, where's your cell phones? They're going to be like, what? That's like a myth or whatever. Like,
they're going to be like, ooga booga, dude. We got clubs.
Well, no. Once I wake up, they've gotten beyond ooga booga.
Now, how are you waking back up from death 2000 years later?
Oh my God. I mean, it's an academic hypothesis. It's not a literal fucking thing, but like it would be that I'm so disappointed in my life that I die in a way that allows my soul to like come back as me again.
That's cool.
And I would be clueless. They would be like, let's say they believe me that I'm from 2000 years ago. And I'd be like, God, we had so much shit. And they'd be like, how? And I'd be like, I don't know, because there was like a lot of us before. There was before stuff. And they'd be like, oh, like you're before stuff. Teach us. And I'd be like, well, I don't know how, because I'm like an idiot. Anyway, the point is, I don't doubt any of this. Like, I don't doubt that they were smart and that they could do stuff and that they had tools that we're unaware of, right? I'm just going like, what is the point of these huge fucking underground like weird things? If it's free energy, cool. I think like if you put a pyramid in Texas and tried to give them free energy and replicated the pyramids, it would probably be, I think, less dependable than the shitty fucking electrical grid that they have now, because I feel like we're beyond what they have, right? What the Egyptians had. That's the whole thing when it comes to this, where you're always touting about like how great their free energy was. And I just think like it's probably awful. You probably had to have those things everywhere. Probably the only reason that it was in Egypt was because like that's where the people were. And then there was no electricity anywhere outside of that.
I hate saying free energy because I don't think it was just a one-to-one energy thing. I think that they're harnessing the energy of the universe and applying it to our consciousness. And so I think it's not just like, hey, I got a cell phone that works and I can call you. It's like somehow the energy of our essence is maybe connected more or something like that. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a loss.
I see. And I just think that's so optimistic. Like you're the opposite of like the people where you're like, oh, they were so far ahead of us. Like that, like everything was great. I don't know. It feels like a very optimistic thing for you to say that, right? Like,
yeah, because at the same time, you are dealing with like, we know these kings, these pharaohs and shit were like, putting people, these basically, working people like slaves and burying, constructing. A big part of these was just constructing their grave. So there was like these big, powerful egos and stuff.
See, I don't buy any of that.
You don't
like?
I
didn't mean to catch you. Keep going.
No, that's interesting. But like, I'm just thinking about it. Like, in theory, I don't know. Do we believe we're more advanced beings than the Egyptians were? Because even today, we're still surrounded by egomaniacs that like have no concept of just like the universe and energy and humanity.
Right.
But they're the ones in power that are putting us.
So they definitely had a power structure. But if you look at some of the things that I find fascinating about ancient Egypt is a lot of their art parallels maps to consciousness, where it's just like, okay, scarab beetle, that's the brain. Okay, Eye of Ra is your pineal gland. Eye of Horus, that's your pituitary gland. And it's just like, here's someone like with the blue lotus flower, this is hallucinogenic. And it's just like,
to me, that feels like reverse manufacturing. Like, to me, that feels like somebody looked at what they did in Egypt and then applied it to like consciousness.
New theories that have only been discovered, talked about after the fact.
Well, what are the theories? I mean, what's consciousness? Like, we haven't figured that out. That's all theoretical.
Yeah.
One idea that's kind of a depressing idea that is floating is that, like, the story of the Tower of Babel was a story of how humans. So the Tower of Babel. Oh, I'm trying to build a tower to God to get into heaven. One idea is that that's all of humanity used to be connected telepathically, and we were disconnected from all beings in that story. So whenever you have an alien story, they all contact you telepathically, yet we can hear it, but we can't do it. And so like, and no matter what kind of alien race it is, they're all talking telepathically to us. So
Yeah, but you're talking about sci-fi right now.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
all
No, for sure.
hogwash.
But I'm going like, oh, it's interesting to apply esoteric things to, because I don't buy the science of Egypt either, where it's like there's more evidence that they're wrong about things in Egypt than there is that they're right about it.
No, sure, I know, but it just feels like we always fall down into that when we talk about Egypt, and I just want to know what these fucking underground things are, man.
Well, and
You
like
know?
Wade, you're talking about your dying and waking up in 2,000 years and telling them about the tech we had, and they're like, "That's amazing." What? But there was all this stuff before our present day tech. So, how much do we know about before the pyramids? Like, how much do we know about civilizations and what tech and what tools they had? Maybe there was a serious, long buildup and progression in technology and tools up until that point that we still don't even know about, that makes it seem like a spur of the moment, like, holy shit, all of a sudden they're building these massive structures. How'd that happen? Well, maybe there's a history before that that did get erased by some crazy leader or something.
Right? Because
Totally. Yeah.
I always bring
So
this
maybe it's
up.
not that impressive. Maybe that was just the progress of the time.
If you look at evolution and the evolution of humans, we've had the same brain for about 200,000 years. And so the pyramids were only built on record about 4,500
Well,
years
you
ago.
know
Something like
why,
that.
right?
I don't.
Because it's a simulation, and we're not here to evolve. And
We're the free energy, bro. We're plugged in. We're the matrix.
yeah, I mean, if you want to take it to the Matrix level, I just think every fucking 2,000 years or whatever, it sort of gets reset, and then we have to like kind of we being humans have to figure out how to do it again, you know?
That's
And
coming
I
up.
think like every time we do it, it's different. And I think that's the research. It's whoever started the simulation is going like, what's the best way to do energy or whatever. And like, so the Egyptians came up with like this water thing and magnetic fields. And then they're like, okay, well, maybe, I don't know, delete. All right. Let's see what the fucking Americans,
Silicon
what
Valley. Yeah,
who's,
yeah.
yeah,
Wait,
Silicon Valley. Yeah.
Who's hitting delete? Who's running the simulation?
Well, I mean, now you're asking questions above my pay grade. The fucking whoever runs the simulation, man. I mean, like, get on my level or fucking get the fuck out.
No, but
I'm not trying to.
is that some other being? Is it just a powerful human? Is it
Well, if you do, you really want to talk about that?
if
Because
you mean it?
no, I just meant like in theory, if this is a simulation,
Mm,
and this is what I believe. I don't know who runs the simulation because that doesn't concern me. The only thing that
interesting.
concerns me is I'm sitting here like petting my cat, and I'm going like, how can this be fake? Because this cat is so cute, and I love her so much, and like, how can I feel something?
That's a powerful tool to make
Right.
a
And then
being feel.
What better to motivate your workers than to give them little fuzzy things that make you happy when
We
you
got to
go
make this
home?
guy work 60 hours a week so he can take care of his precious little cat.
Right. So that's my theory. That's my theory. It's like, oh, Kurt's doing it. We won't see it unless you
The
make
square thing
noises.
didn't happen that time.
You got to make noise.
I don't want to.
You can't do Charlie Chaplin shit and expect people to see it.
Welcome to the Silent Podcast. I'm your host, Kurt. I'm not going to talk for the next 60 minutes. Have fun.
So anyway, I think this is good. I think I'm onto something. I think it is a simulation. It resets every time. And
I'm on
like
board with the reset.
these old ways to like make energy, like allegedly or whatever. I don't care what you believe. Like, let's just say that the energies were for pyramids and like blah blah blah, or the pyramids were for energy. I'm sorry. And then we sprung from the fucking ice age, and we became like, oh no, now it's like we've got nuclear, we've got like fucking all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like shit that the Egyptians just didn't have privy to.
Mm-hmm.
And the people in charge of the simulation, whoever, I don't know if it's aliens, I don't know, but they're going like, that's a good way to make energy, maybe we could do that, or that seems promising, I don't know. And then once they get everything out of us, they're gonna just delete.
Yeah, yeah.
The next thing's gonna come up.
Well, what do
And then,
we?
and
What
then
do
we'll be
we?
making energy out of fucking dirt, man.
Right?
That'd be
Like picture
sick.
that other version where we're doing all this mining, we're collecting all this gold or copper, and then they're gonna show up and take it all, and then that's the reset after we've
Mm-hmm.
collected everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're blurring the line between a simulation and a reality.
If there was somebody making us do something, sure, it could be to get information, could be to get us to do something that we did, us being some sort of battery
Oh, I don't
to.
think. Yeah, but I don't think we exist.
Yeah. Wait,
I
further
didn't mean to
explain.
hijack this topic with my simulation thing.
No, it's very
I just
interesting.
felt that it was. I felt that it played in very nicely.
Oh,
I think it does too. What is the
I
point
do
of the
because
simulation
it.
in your mind? In your
What's the
opinion?
point of the simulation? To, I don't know, figure out the best way to get energy. I think the point of our simulation is to throw out theories for whoever's running it to be like, oh, the Egyptians did it like this, like we could do it like that. I think it's like practical applications of the way that our technology has advanced, and they're like, oh, well, we don't have like these are in okay. I'm like building the world now. These are
Mhm.
like multi-universal fucking like societies, and like some planets are Egypt, where it's just dirt and sand. And some planets are like Earth, where there's like a various whatever, or some planets are like, jungles and water and shit. And I think they're saying like, oh, we've got this desert planet. Like what's the best way to do energy there? And they go, well, we're looking back at the fucking readouts. These Egyptians like used water and magnetic um fields, and they would run it through, and then that would create energy. And they're like, well, that's we could do that for the desert planet that we have over here. I don't know. And then when it comes to like the planets that have like fucking copper and shit, they're like, oh, well, now we know that copper conducts stuff, so we could like we could
So
make
they
wires
could.
out of it.
There could even be a version of that where it's not a simulation. We're just fucking lab rats. Like as a planet, we're lab rats for some intergalactic collection of planet runners.
Yeah, well, and yeah, maybe we're the perfect lab rats because we have all these different. But also my imagination is failing me here because like
Sure.
I'm operating in a world where Earth has all of the biomes, right? But
All the
like,
possible. Yeah.
yeah, but there's probably I mean, even like, what is Jupiter? It's like gas, right?
Yeah. Stinky.
Eh,
So my point is like, yeah, we're not helping out with the Jupiter side of stuff.
if you want to watch an octopus like be an octopus, just don't let it know it's in a cage. You know what I mean? As soon as his nose in the
Mm.
cage, it's trying to get out.
What would the cage be? Is that why we're going into the cosmos instead of drilling into our planet? Because innately we know there's an end to this, and once we find it, we'll be like, oh, we're in a cage here, we can't leave here. Is the cage just giant?
If evolution is interplanetary or beyond a solar system, then at some point, the only way we can evolve is if we leave this planet because the sun's going to blow up and we got to leave the solar system. So, like, if that has happened over and over and over with stars and solar systems, then the evolution would be the quickest way to evolve to be able to leave.
I
So
think this is the
technology's in there.
episode. I think this is the episode where I begin to believe that evolution is a myth. We have no records of anything before. We've restarted so many times that it means that we will never evolve. We'll always get set back. So what are we evolving toward? I mean, like, if you think about like ancient Egypt, and they had all these tools and stuff, and they could do all this shit, and then we completely lost it. How are we ever going to evolve? Like, we've
Right?
evolved enough to like conquer this planet. We won. Sorry, bears. Sorry, tigers. Humans are the fucking
Whales.
shit.
So
sorry,
big,
Whales.
can eat anything.
Fuck off,
We'll
whales.
fucking eat you and make lipstick out of you.
Sorry, rabbits.
Yeah, fucking rat. You
Fucking
thought,
bastards.
I'm sorry, rabbits. You thought you were gonna be the guys?
Guess what,
No,
pal?
no.
There's millions
You're
of us. There's
so
millions
far
of
away.
us.
Bunch of tortoises just took over, you fucking bastards.
You can't even win a race against a turtle, rabbit.
Fucking dumb bitch.
So all I'm saying is, and it folds into my simulation theory. We will never evolve. Like we are being stopped from evolving by being reset. I'm going to just say 2000 years as a placeholder. It's not a real number. And then we start over again and we do something else because we're showing these fucking simulation overlords like, here's some stuff you can do. And then they're like, okay, good enough, delete, start over.
You love hitting that delete button.
Well, I feel like I only said it twice and I had to do it once.
I think I've heard it 5 times.
I'm gonna delete you, motherfucker.
I'm on board with the idea that we've stopped evolving, because the only way we can evolve now is like accidental things that like end up surviving, because it's always survival of the fittest. Well, now that everyone survives, like,
are there any theories? Like, what did Darwin say about like once you've won?
Yeah, what's the end?
Well, because, I mean, how do you evolve once you've won?
Even just aren't we slowly getting like taller on average? Isn't that kind of evolution?
I think it was, but I think now it's going back. I do feel like we've hit the height of human,
but it moves so slow. I don't know if that feels far-fetched to theorize.
Does attractiveness have anything to do with evolution?
Because you got to get fucked.
Yeah,
right?
You have to get fucked. It's kind of
you gotta get fucked, dude. I mean, what do you think those birds are doing with their feathers?
So at some point, I picture everyone looking the same after all the morphing after years, and it's just like,
wouldn't that be boring? What if you had a kink that you're a fetish that it just your society could not?
I do think sometimes when you look at, especially like famous people and like stereotypically hot people, those standards do change. You know, you look back over different generations, like what a hot person is or what a famous person is. Like they look different.
I mean, but Charles Bronson,
generation to generation, they all kind of look the same. So sometimes I wonder, I wonder if we actually have the ability to change ourselves individually, physically change ourselves, appearance-wise change ourselves through willpower, almost through some version of like The Secret. Like if I think enough about how I want to look like fucking Channing,
interesting.
I slowly become a hotter version of myself.
Can you manifest facial structure?
Like straight up, I mean, the listeners can't hear this, but I always was like, man, I hope I get that little triangle of gray hair right where you kind of your sideburns start going up into your hair, like the guy from Spider-Man. And I kind of have
100%.
And I'm like, did I manifest that? Yeah, did I make
I think you did.
So is that evolution? I don't know.
I mean, I used to draw on
I think
this
it's
mustache and wear a wig.
That supports your simulation theory.
Before I had long hair and mustache, that's all every character I had to draw it on. I'm like, oh, I have it now. I did it.
That's funny.
I don't need to draw it on anymore.
So that's like,
and I'm talking college. I couldn't draw a mustache in college.
So you see all these hot people today, and they all just look the same. And like they intentionally tried to look like the other hot people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it more on the bonus episode.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna talk about on the bonus episode, but because I feel like it's wrong of me to have hijacked this pyramid thing as a proof of simulation theory.
We went somewhere else, but we obviously all got into it, so I think it was worth discussing.
I loved it because there was nothing more to talk about because there's no evidence. There's no
just where we took it.
There's no real theories of what's going on.
I know, but it is interesting. If these things exist, it's almost like debilitatingly interesting. Like for them to have shafts that are like a mile long under the ground.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating to me. And like, I almost don't even care about the why. I just think it's like awesome that they did that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, fuck it. That's aliens. Like, that's not.
Tell me this is a tomb. Tell me this is a fucking tomb.
Oh, this is just for burying the guy. Come on, this is insane. This took fucking 200 years. It either took 200 years or it took.
Could it have been? All right, just real quick before we end the episode. Could it have been a tectonic? Oh, we don't want these pyramids to ever crumble based on the shifts of the Earth.
Ooh, that's a good theory.
So let's support.
It's rebar.
Them.
That's just rebar.
Yeah, it's rebar. It's rebar.
That's it. That's interesting.
That's it. It's just the fucking foundation for the pyramid.
The bedrock.
That's what
the bedrock split. I mean, they must have known the continental drift. You know that like.
Well, but the pyramids aren't on the bedrock.
Doesn't rebar have a little
They
curlicue? Don't pieces of rebar have a little
Yes.
curlicue element?
100%, 100%.
That's just foundation. That's just
We're
rebar.
looking at like giant rebar.
Yeah, they're just like the master builders of.
They just build like fucking 1,000 times bigger versions of rebar than we use.
Because when I saw that, I was like, oh, it looks like an earthquake.
Dude, picture building a pier or a building in Italy, in Venice.
Yeah, it's just the foundation. That's funny
So,
that it took us this long to propose that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have thought of it before. I didn't even think of it until.
No, none of us did, obviously. It's a very funny thing to think of.
No, but I had that thought, and I should
see.
have presented it earlier.
Oh, yeah, no, I thought of it days ago.
No, I'm very smart.
I'll believe when I see it, pal.
Thank you for being here. What?
I didn't say shit.
Do you want to plug your socials or any projects that you have coming up? I know that you're making shorts like all the time, and I don't understand how you have the energy to do that.
I know, dude, and you're great. I love watching.
Any left? I'll say that much. But I've been making a lot of short vids and sketches and stuff. So yeah, feel free to find me on the socials. Curt with a C, Neill is the last name.
Double L, hockey sticks.
And that's a huge thing people miss. So yeah, Instagram, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I got all sorts of vids all over the place. Please watch.
So what's the latest short?
I'm releasing this little series called Thanks for Coming In. It's me interviewing. Every episode is me interviewing someone else, and they're all idiots and freaks, and it never goes well. And they're really short, so that's nice.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like a series?
Yeah, technically, but they're all the same, so I need to stop doing them.
No. But you bring so much to it, dude. Like it's
they're
almost
technically
like...
fun, but like it's like.
Oh, Willie, you've seen it.
If I'm gonna make 50 of these, I mean, it's gonna get tiresome because it's the same room and.
Well, like, give me an example because I haven't seen it. Like, who's a guy that you interviewed?
The last one we put out was with Ever Maynard, a very funny comedian, and they just keep accidentally calling me dad. And they're like. They think I'm their dad.
So this is scripted. It's like a funny scripted.
It's 50-50. We have a script and then we improvise a lot.
Okay. So it's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes, exactly. Great example. Great reference.
Cool. Great. I want to see it. What's it called again?
It's called Thanks for Coming In. It's on all my social media accounts. I'm surprised you haven't seen them.
Oh, I deleted everything.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll send you the latest one. It's only a minute.
Yeah, please do. Email it to me. Right. I'm still on email.
That's awesome.
Thanks everyone for listening. And remember, go to patreon.com/RealLifeSciFi if you want to get 2 bonus episodes. We're going to continue the conversation with Curt Neill. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but like, if you like this episode, it's only going to get nuts.
I can't wait for episode number 2. No, not more balloons.
Shit.
Jesus Christ, I can't believe I
fucked your bit up. But I think enough of it. I think enough of it got in there. Enough of it got in there. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. We'll see you next time.
Get him. Get him. These fucking balloons just popped up. What the fuck?
RealLifeSciFi.